Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another end of the week Sabbath class. I'm your brother Ananias.
And I'm brother Ezekiel.
And we are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And as always, it's an honor and privilege to come before you each and every week to give you another uplifting and edifying lesson. And this week is no different. But before we get started, as always, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being His Son, who the world calls Christ. Through His strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here today to be uplifted and edified in the Spirit. So, as always, as we speak about each and every week, remember to pray for your nation, the people. Because as a nation, we need prayer constantly. And the scriptures tell us to pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing. Pray for the strengthening of your nation. Pray for the destruction of this wicked kingdom that we dwelling in right now. Pray for the strengthening of your spirit. Pray that the Most High keep your spirit on fire, that you keep pushing. Pray that the Most High keep you away from a slothful spirit. Pray for your healing of your nation of people, on a day-to-day basis. But nonetheless, we appreciate everybody tuning in as always. Go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Share this content with your brothers and sisters because it's very important that they understand what's going on in these last days and to know who they are. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. Today's class is going to be taught by the mighty brother Ezekiel. So I'm going to pass it off to you. So you can.
All right, thank you, brother. Shalom, Israel. I want to thank everyone for joining in on tonight's class as I do every Sabbath when I teach a class. Tonight's class, we're going to be going into the subject of divorce. But before we do that, we're going to go over a few topics or scriptures or whatever before the class. And the first one we're going to go into is the brother Ibrahim Trailway over in I forgot what country it is, but it's a country in Africa. But he noticed something that we noticed and we have talked about a lot, and that is far as the skin bleaching. Some of our brothers and sisters trying to turn themselves a lighter pigmentation, trying to do away with their dark skin and make their skin look more so like of the Edomites, and something we disagree with, but something that has been plaguing our people, especially in countries such as like the Dominican Republic, certain countries in Africa that our people tend to want to lighten their skin up because they're dissatisfied with their skin, displeased with their skin, and they want to make their skin look like the skin of their enemies. So let's play that first video.
Look at this woman. Look at how she has bleached her skin from head to toe. Captain Ibrahim Traore is totally angry. Yes, you heard it right. He is very upset about this practice. Despite Captain Ibrahim Traore's strict ban on promoting and accepting skin bleaching in his country, many people still do it. But what are the consequences? Could these people go to jail? Listen carefully to Captain Ibrahim Traore's decision. It is forbidden to promote skin lightening products, whether they are soaps or creams that bleach the skin. He is completely against this practice and demands that
and I don't blame him for being against that. You know, I don't know what's wrong with our people. As you can see that woman right there on the screen right now, she looks retarded. That's a black woman, but she has bleached the skin. And I don't blame him as being the head of a country, the leader of a country. If I was a leader of a so-called black nation or whatever, and there was a heavy practice, I would feel the same way. We should never feel like we should have to bleach our skin in order to make us feel acceptable or likable. Go ahead and Matt play.
Everyone follow this rule. Otherwise, you could face penalties or even prison. For Captain Ibrahim Traore, we must be proud of our skin and fear God. If you support this decision, like this video and subscribe. Captain Ibrahim Traore.
See that? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 3.
All right. The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 3. With those whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Let them know how much better the Lord of them is, for the first author of beauty have created them.
Right. So it said the first author of beauty have created us. So the first author had created us, the so-called Israelites. Why are we breaking our necks to try to look at it like our enemies? That makes no sense.
Right.
If we know who we are, why would we break our necks to try to look like the people who hate us? That's crazy. So big that that's one of the curses that we are under. The Most High got us like in a strong delusion, whereas we would rather look like our enemies than we would want to look like our own selves. That's crazy.
Right.
And that brother there, I think he's only 34 years old. "34-year-old leader, and he's trying to put some sense in his nation's head.
Right.
You know, so I don't blame him for trying to stop their practice.
That's right.
But you have a lot of you will have a lot of so-called well, just say a lot of our people would go against that brother because he don't feel like that's necessary what they're doing. They would go against him in order to continue practicing that practice.
Right.
You know, so we got to give a shout out to him for trying to do away with that. That's the same thing Sammy Sosa uh, decided he wanted to do, and he was looking like a damn fool.
Right. It's a lot of them. Serena Williams.
Right.
Lil' Kim.
Right. And Serena Williams, as we all know, she married the white man, had the little Edomite baby. But yeah, why would you uh feel as though that the Lord has given you the skin or made you in a way and you're not satisfied with how the Lord made you, but you want to go with uh how the Lord has created your enemy. You desire the looks of your enemy. That's crazy. That little Kim right there.
Yeah,
Look at
man.
little Kim.
Cool.
You see that? There's a before and after, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible.
She kind of look like the talk show host Joan Rivers, man. That's who she looked like.
Mm.
But that's a hellified level of witchcraft that has been put on our people to want to look like the oppressor, the one who has conquered you, conquered your people. You want to start looking like them, dating them, falling in love, learning their ways, learning their customs.
Stockhouse syndrome,
Yeah, that's what you call it.
where you tend to have sympathy or the lack, you tend to have sympathy or the lack of wisdom of the damage what your enemies have caused you.
Sammy Sosa
Stockhouse,
look like a vampire right there, man.
right? You got a little Eddie monster on top of his head. And if
Wow.
you look, go back to Sammy Sosa. When you look at each one of these pictures, which one looks the most look better, most normal or natural? It's gonna be the one with the pigmentation,
Mm-hmm.
the one with the melanin. It looks more natural.
I got
Sammy Sosa.
this King. One of the things,
Oh, that,
what's the name? He did an interview with Shannon Sharp not too long ago, Damon Wayans.
mm-hmm,
And one of the things that he made a statement about was the more money you make, the higher up you go, and the less of your own people you start to see that you start to associate with.
mm-hmm.
So everybody that we showing thus far, they up there 100 million status and above. You know, Sierra, I think that's
Megan Good. Nah, I'm sorry, no, it's not.
that look like maybe Beyonce's sister, maybe. I'm not sure. But that's Beyonce. They up there around that $1 billion status. $100 million and more. You know. So they are constantly around the other nation, the heathen, Esau, Idumea. So they start changing their skin color just to fit in with them, to seem like they fitting in. You know. Look at that. Michael Jackson, the main one, number one. That brother went
He the
and
father, he the God, he the father of that. So that just goes to show how much we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
man.
We are destroyed. You don't see other races destroying their skin tone to look like us. We might see one or two that decide, okay, I want to look dark skinned, but not like on the scale we trying to look like them.
Hey, they go
Especially
to the beach and get a tan though.
right. And then they go get a tan so they don't look like night and day compared to what they used to look like. We just do a whole 180-degree turnabout.
Right.
But we want to salute that brother. We want to thank that brother for standing up against that uh, procedure right there. And he's
Right.
only 34 years old. So that's just one thing I want to bring out. I wanted to bring out the second video I sent you.
Hey, and just to add on to the situation that the brother over there fighting against.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this as well. That's a so-called black country.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crazy thing about it. It ain't like it's a lot of Esau or Edomites mixed among them.
Mm-hmm.
They in
That's the
they
self
own
hatred. They let you
man.
know how bad we got that self hatred.
Man.
Even in a country where it's not the white man's agenda. Well, we have to sit like in the United States, for example. They got their own agenda. What the word I'm looking for? How they try to present stuff in front of us over here in this country, because this is, mostly run by the white man. It's a certain way the country is going to be ran
Right.
because who runs it. Over there in that country, is ran by black people, and the white agenda still is coming across.
Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Mm-hmm. You got something else you want to say about that?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. So
Who come from 2-parent homes. They don't like players with strong fathers in their life. Now, LeVar Ball was a big mouth. LeVar Ball was braggadocious, but LeVar Ball was a proud father who cared about his sons, and so they attacked him. Deion Sanders is a proud father who cared about his son. They don't want you to have no daddy. They want you to view your coach as your dad. They want you to be like any
that's
other
all.
slave on the.
You heard what he said? Dr. Umar said they don't want you to view your daddy as a father. They want you to look at your coach as the father. They'd much rather you look at your coach as the big influence in your life when it comes to these black athletes. They'd rather you look at your coach. They don't want you to look at your daddy as your influencer.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Paul, man, play.
Hey, just to go back to what you played in that first video, going back to that Damian Wayans interview he did with Shannon Sharp. Another thing he was speaking about was the higher up the athlete or the athlete went, they started to push the father out of the picture.
Mm-hmm. The
Or the
black father.
celebrity. Yeah.
The black father, not the white father, but the black father.
So like Michael Jackson and his brother, the Jackson 5, Joe Jackson disciplined them boys and groomed them to be who they were. But as the more successful they became, they pushed him out the way. You know, same thing with Tiger Woods' dad. Who else? It's a lot of them. Venus and Serena. You know, when they was playing with the barrettes and beads in their head, hey, the pops was right there. They was giving them his props, you know, for teaching them and disciplining them. As they became adults, hey, you ain't see them no more. Push them to the side.
Hey, another example was in a movie, Life, when Eddie Murphy and Martin
Right.
teaching the guy to play baseball. Once he got to a certain status, the man came and they were trying to say, okay, we need to come with him. We as teachers, we've been coaching. No, we don't need you. We just want him.
Right.
We gonna get him out of prison. Y'all can stay here and write. That's how old boy was, who can't get right out of prison and play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So they will allow you to raise them to a certain point. And then when they get to the point where they can get them the money, they feel like, okay, I'm finna get a bag to your son. Therefore, I need you to step back. I don't need you to be no more influence, because the bag is more important to you and your family and to your son than you being in your son's life. You sit back. It's like a we gonna give you the bag. We giving your son the bag in order for you to sit back and let us raise your son from this point on.
That's
And
right.
you the kind of father who not gonna stand for it. Now they want to punish you, and how else other than punish you than by punishing your son, who you trying to raise the same way they did to Shadur, which was a number one quarterback in college. But by the confidence that his daddy had put in him, throughout his years in college by him having confidence and having a black father in his life that was proud of him and felt proud of his son. Instead of them letting his son go in the draft, a first round draft pick where he should have went, they dropped him from a first round draft pick all the way to a fifth round draft pick, causing him to lose out on, at least 30, $40 million. And they picked people before him that weren't half as good as him because, like Dr. Umar said, they want your coach to be your dad instead of your actual father being your dad. What
Right.
Matt play?
The plantation, emotionally dependent on your white daddy, psychologically dependent on your white daddy,
That's how they
and
want us to feel.
financially dependent on your white daddy. They don't like athletes with strong black fathers. And Deion Sanders just isn't a strong black father, Art. He's one of the greatest to ever do it and is a coach now himself. That made these white men insecure. That made these white men jealous. They hate Deion for being confident. This ain't about being cocky. This is about being confident. They don't like.
See that? Not about being cocky, being confident. Meaning they want you to come to the leaving college to the NFL with your head held down like you begging for a handout, like you begging for a meal ticket. But when you come to the NFL, being taught by a strong black man, like y'all finna give me my meal ticket. Y'all finna give me what I'm due because I know I'm just that good, and my father had taught me so. Now they don't like you as much, regardless of how good you are. Like the scriptures say, they require from us mirth, meaning to please them, to make them feel good, to make them feel happy, to entertain them. That's all they want. But let's get Deuteronomy 28, verse 54.
All right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 54. Bear with me, bear with me. All right. Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead.
But see, the reason about it out is because Deion Sanders, he didn't choose to lead his children. He chose to be there with his children. And it's kind of like going against the grain when it comes to our enemies. When you do what you're not supposed to do in their eye, he's not supposed to be there for his children. He supposed to, in their eye, he's supposed to lead his children so that they can fend by themselves. But he didn't do that. So in their eye, he done did something wrong. He's different than the other Negroes. He's not playing by the same rule as the majority of the Negroes follow or play by. He's doing something different. He's there for his kid, so automatically they want to, hey, he uppity, like they say. If you got you a piano in the 1950s, you a uppity Negro. So they looking at him like he's uppity because he's doing something that's not seen on a daily basis. A black man raising his children, black millionaire raising his children with confidence and pride. And when they grew up following in their daddy footsteps, having confidence like their daddy, pride like their daddy, now it's a problem. They want you to come to the NFL with your head down, looking like, please let me in here. They don't want you to have that frame of mind where I'm gonna be good if I'm in here or not. Cause the average black man that make it to the NFL, when he a youngster like Deion Sanders' son, it's like this either gonna make me or break me. If I get in, I'm good. If I don't, I'm screwed. Deion Sanders boys, if I get in, I'm good, but if I don't, I'm still good. And they don't like you having that advantage. You want to say something, brother? You got something to bring out?
Nah. You
Okay.
doing good.
All right. So we're gonna go to one more video before we start the main class. Let's play that other video what I gave you, brother.
Really proud of my ancestors because they left nothing behind, nothing at all. I've traveled the world as a black man, and I have never seen a black country where the people who live in it are foreigners that were brought there by blacks as slaves. Not one single country. Yet the black race has more countries on earth than any other country. 54 are on the continent, 13 black countries in the Caribbean, so 68 black countries. There's not a single black country where slaves were bought from outside by black people. I've traveled the world, not a single country in the world colonized by a black country. There's nowhere you go on Mother Earth where the language they are speaking was imposed on them by force by a black country. I've traveled the world and I have never seen a religion that is imposed upon anybody anywhere in this world by a black country. The 68 black countries in the world, the largest continent by number of countries, not a single one of them has a nuclear weapon of mass destruction.
Wow.
Black countries across the world, none of them is responsible for what we call the military complex, where we are manufacturing dirty bombs and sending things into the water to pollute people. I've traveled the world and I'm yet to see one product that was forced to be sold in another country by a black country. So it means the black race is the only race on earth that represents what the United Nations have been looking for the last 100 years, peace. Yes, we fought internal wars just like anybody, and that is all we did. Therefore, in my travels, there was no place I went on earth where the people there pointed fingers at me and say, your people did this to me. Never. The black person is the only one who travels this earth and no one who pointed a finger. That's what my ancestors left behind. Nothing.
Holy shit.
That has to be definitely, I'd say, more powerful than anything any of the other.
This is the first time
That was mighty right there.
Yes, sir. Let us know that we are different people than them. The Most High set it up like that. Let's get Genesis chapter 27, and we're going to read 38 through 40.
Call it out one more time.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 38 through 40.
All right. Book of
27,
Genesis, chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto 27, 38.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
So that's why Esau is able to do all the things that brother was saying that we have never done. We wasn't given that blessing to rule by the sword. Like the brother was saying, and all these nations, well, the Esau and other races were given to make these weapons and create all this pillage on the earth. That's not us. We are two different manner of people. So of course they will be living in different parts of the world the way that brother had described. But we are a different manner of people. We don't live like that. We're not here to conquer other people and rule other people and make these weapons of mass destruction like the other nations do. The
Oh,
Lord didn't create us for that. He created them for that.
mm-hmm.
You know, not
Yeah,
that. Go ahead, brother.
this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
You see
So
that?
like, go ahead, King.
No, you can break it down if you want to.
No, just going into how that brother was saying, anywhere that we as a people travel around the globe, you won't find anybody being oppressed by our people. You won't find a religion, a language, or anything pressed on anybody because we are the righteous. If we were in charge, guess what? Hey, this world would be in peace right now, like that brother said.
Mm-hmm.
It would be in peace and everybody would be rejoicing. But the wicked bear rule, according to Job 9 and 24, which is a so-called white man, and he has that blessing, that power, like the brother going into. So the whole earth is in mourning. And everywhere you go, you can see the oppression left by this man and his people. Nuclear bombs, mass destruction, destroying the water, destroying the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you could possibly think of, this man has destroyed. But it's on you, King.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, bro. So yeah, I just want to bring out two scriptures to keep our mind focused on what's going on, what has been and what still is, let us know what's going on. Uh and all these things that like we just brought out, you know, letting us know, like the brother said, letting us know who the wicked is. When the when the when the wicked is in charge, the earth gonna be in mourning. Let us know who is the wicked. You know, the Most High got a chosen people who is not the wicked, and He put a comparison between the wicked and the not wicked. Let us recognize what's going on. But I just wanted to bring that out before I start the rest of the class. And like I said, the class is going into main class is going into the topic of divorce, a destroyer of our nations. So we're gonna be going to that uh, divorce because in this day and age, a lot of people get married and can't seem to make it until to the end, which is a marriage is supposed to last forever. But a lot of our people, especially our people, can't tend to make it to the end. When you think about it, back when we was young, our grandparents, they marriage lasted. For some reason, this day and age, and not that much later than our grandparents, but this day and age, these marriages are not lasting. A lot of people tend to not want to be married or don't have a desire to be married. And is back when we was young, for example, our grandparents getting married, the woman might be a lot younger than the husband, and they would get married, have 11, 12, 13 babies,
Mm-hmm.
and and it never would be heard of them being divorced. But this day and age, we don't see that no more. Only thing we see is baby mama, baby daddy. And it's sad because a lot of times when, for example, I hate to say it, but like when the police come to our doorsteps and knock on the door, so if you got something going on at your house, they not looking for the man of the house no longer. They looking for the woman of the house, or they starting to do this as mockery. If you don't realize it, when you hear them speak on it, they say the baby mama. They didn't got so used to us saying baby mama to they refer as the woman as the baby mama now, as far as mockery. And a lot of times we don't even realize it. We just go with the flow. I saw where something was going on and they referred to his man's wife as his baby mama. And he got offended by it. And he spoke on it, and the cop had to apologize. But the reason he referred to her as a baby mama, because that was just what he used to now. No other nation, the cop referred to the women as baby mamas or the men as baby daddies, except ours. All the other nations, they said the husband or the wife. Us, they said the baby mama or the baby dad. And it's crazy. That is, and we don't even realize how much of a, what the word I'm looking for. Instead of them calling us husband and wife, baby mama and baby daddy, that is, that's like almost like a slur. I take it as a slur. And everyone else should too. But the reason they do that is because even though I say I take it as a slur, it has become our reality.
Mm-hmm.
No longer husband and wife. We have been reduced from husband and wife to baby mama, baby dad. That holds no value, just like black compared to Israelite. It holds no value. You should be a husband. You should be a wife. You should be a father. You should be a mother, not baby mama and baby dad. That's
Right.
real. Uh, and with that baby mama, baby daddy, like it holds no value. That's why the relationship holds no value. You know, uh, we should marry these women. Women marry the husband. I mean the man. Uh, because who is coming out at the bottom when you think about it? The person who's gonna suffer is the child. Baby mama, baby daddy, that child is gonna suffer. But we have to know that we must make marriages and quit just going off lust, having babies by people who uh don't even come to the standard as a mother or a father that you would want to have for your child. Uh, and once we do get married, we have to remember that the the vows that we take are very serious. Don't take those for granted. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 10 through 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 10 through 11. And like I tell you every week, brother, you got some precepts you gonna bring out. Feel free to bring them out. But we're gonna go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 10 through 11.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 10. And it reads, And unto the married I command, yet not but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
Right. So if you decide to separate from your as a man, you decide to separate from your wife. Uh, it says, and she depart, let her remain unmarried. Meaning, when you separate from her, she can't go marry to someone else. Separation don't mean separating, getting married. Separation just means separation. But it says, let her remain unmarried. So you separate, you remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. Meaning, you either gonna go without being married, or you gonna reconcile with your husband to get back with him. I ain't dealing with him no more. I find me another man, according to the Most High. But what do we learn this day in this society over here in America and in other countries? You sign in paperwork, you divorce, now you can go be with who you want to. But like the scripture says, you're gonna obey God rather than man. So that's what you have to do. You got to obey God rather than man. No matter what about you at in the world, when you learn the scriptures, you have to do what the scriptures say. Because just because it's the law in the land, that don't make you not accountable for what the Most High said in His law. You can't get in front of the Most High and say, "Well, I was living in Alabama and inside the United States, and they said this." The Lord don't give a damn what the United States said. It's all about what He said. So we have to remember that.
Right.
Have to remember that. You got that. Bring up that other one. The next video I had sent you is a frozen picture.
Talking about with the stats.
Yes, sir. Can you blow it up some? Go ahead and read that for me, brother.
All right. In the U.S., black individuals generally have higher divorce rates compared to other racial groups. Specifically, black women experience the highest divorce rates, followed by black men. White, Hispanic, and Asian individuals generally have lower divorce rates compared to black individuals. For instance, black women had a first divorce rate of 24.5% in 2024, while black men had a first divorce rate of 22.6%.
Mm. See that?
And this is a little chart over here.
But when you compare what he just read compared to like the 50s, we had a higher rate of marriage than our enemies Esau. So
Mm-hmm.
from then to now, some had changed. You know, I don't know if it's the Lord turning that heat up on us or what, but it has dramatically changed. And with that change, what came with that change? A dramatic change in the into
In our
how
household.
our households, how our children act, the violence that has become, that our children have been putting out, the black male with no positive role model in the house, how quick he is to kill somebody else that look like him, how our children, our females have begun to act, have begun to dress out in public. It's a big difference because ain't no way that uh, a young lady with a father in the house will be able to step out dressed as some of our women, black women, dress young black women and older black women dress this day and age out in public. You go to Walmart, they out there half naked and they mind they ain't doing nothing wrong. But if they had a father in the house, he's not gonna let them step out that way. You got something?
Let me bring the precept out, King.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. This is a classic precept that we always speak about, but this Jeremiah 17:4 says, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for you have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." Now, majority of the time when we speak about this precept, breaking it down, we go into how the Most High discontinued us from the way we used to dress to how we treated each other to the land that we used to be in, the things that we celebrated and whatnot. But it goes a lot deeper. And just like in tonight's topic, divorce, when he said discontinue from thy heritage, like the brother was saying, from the 50s till now, we were marrying each other at a higher rate than our enemies were. Even on the plantation, we did marriage, and it was honorable. You know what I'm saying? But we slowly but surely, as time goes on, slowly but surely discontinuing more and more from our heritage due to what our enemies promote to us. You know, we all had, a majority of us had that mindset like, I'm not getting married. You know, it's too much risk involved. I'm hanging up my cleats, my player club. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be tied to one person or whatever the case may be. But all of those things are used to destroy us before we even get to the stage of marriage. You know what I'm saying? And that's discontinuing us from our heritage, where the household is broken before it even was supposed to start, you know. Because when you read in the scriptures, when a man lay down with a woman, he's supposed to make her his wife. Everybody understood that. You know what I'm saying? But as time goes on today, everybody going out, laying down and doing what they want to do, you know, disregarding the law, disregarding our heritage. So a brother goes sleep with a sister over here, get her pregnant, he don't give a damn. He moved to the next sister, he go get her pregnant. You know, he don't give a damn, you know. And those children, without even being married, are coming up with a destroyed household. You know what I'm saying? Without the father there. So you ain't gonna have no Dion and Shador or Shiloh. You know, you're not gonna have Serena and Venus with their father, or Joe Jackson with the Jacksons. It's already destroyed because the marriage didn't even take place. So our heritage being discontinued at a faster rate, so that when we do get married, we start listening to the things that we see on TV, what we hear in the music, you know, social media, and our brothers and sisters, man, I ain't got to deal with this. You know, I can do bad by myself. We're watching these Tyler Perry movies. You know, they quick to go get a divorce. They don't want to work through their problems. For one, they ain't never seen it done. They don't know who to go to. They don't know who they are. They don't know how they're supposed to deal with each other because our heritage is discontinued. So our enemies know these things and they keep promoting it to us. That's why our nation as a whole is diminishing as far as being in order. You know what I'm saying? But it's on you, King.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, bro. And now let's go to Matthew. We're gonna read chapter 19, verse 3 through 9.
Call that one more time.
Book of Matthew 19, verse 3 through 9.
All right.
Yes.
The book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 3, and it reads, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him.
And this is a discussion
Go ahead,
about
say it again.
I was just letting the viewers know that this is a discussion about divorce. But read.
All right. The book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
So this is the Pharisee talking to Yahweh Shai,
And
asking
when
him,
he
go ahead.
and he answered and said unto them, Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female,
Right. He at the beginning made male and female read.
and said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh.
Read.
Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore Yahweh have joined together, let no man put asunder.
Read.
They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so.
So Moses, because of the hardness of their heart, suffered them to put away their heart. But from the beginning, that ain't what God intended. Read.
Verse 9, And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication,
So now he's
shall,
telling you he's showing you the only way you will be able to put away your wife according to the law is what?
for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marry her which is put away, doeth commit adultery.
So it says, and I say unto you, whoever shall put away his wife, except. So the only way you can put away your wife is because of fornication, and shall marry another committed adultery. So if you get put away for anything besides fornication and marry another, you commit adultery. And whoso marry her which is put away doth commit adultery. So we can't be going by what we have been taught here in America and here in other countries. We always have to refer back to our book, because this is our book, which was written by our people, and the book was written to us. So this is what we have to govern ourselves by. We can't govern ourselves by the country that we are living in, whatever they say. That's why the Lord has allowed this book to be everywhere.
Right.
So we can realize who we are. So we can say, to hell with y'all rules, we're going to go by our rules. That's why we got this Bible here today. It's so much stuff what America say that goes against our value, what the Most High had put in here for us. So that's why we have to say, we have to do away with their values or what they say is right and wrong, and go by what the scripture said right and wrong.
That's right.
We go by what they say, it'll be a messed up situation. He want us to go by what he say.
That's right. Let me get a precept, King.
Yes, sir.
We go to Daniel chapter 7, verse. Let me go to Daniel chapter 7 right quick. Because this is the reason why a majority of our people fall so hard into the boys. Is because what this man, our enemies, has done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. And it gives attributes and crumbs or clues to let you know who is in charge, who's doing what at this particular moment in time, and letting you know why things are out of order. All right. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. So this was actually written before Yahushua hit the scene, but it was prophecy of what would happen in the future. It said, and he, meaning Esau, Idumea, the Greeks, so-called white man, And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, the saints of the Israelites, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and a dividing of time.
Mhm.
So this is showing you how this man would have us in captivity and would wear us out. And he would think to change times and laws. So this man has us looking at a calendar to govern our days and our times rather than governing by the moon like the Most High set it up. He has us following his customs, his ways of the law, rather than going to the scriptures to figure out how we supposed to deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he will wear us out, and this cycle will continue on until the Most High come back to redeem us. But right now, we in the hand of our enemies, and we are following his times and his structure and his laws, and we have forsaken the ways of the Most High. Therefore, we know not about the rules or the laws of divorce, truly. Because as the brother was bringing out earlier through the stat chart, that more women of our people are divorcing their husband than any other race of people. But when you actually dive into the scriptures, you will find out that women ain't even supposed to, they can't divorce their men. It was never their right to do so. Now, I know that might rub women the wrong way, but hey, that's thus saith the Lord. That's not us. That's part of our heritage. That's how you sustain a marriage, a nation. You know what I'm saying? But divorce today is destroying our nation because it's used as a tactic to get money, alimony, uh, child support, all of these different things to help destroy our nation and our families rather than build them. And it's due to us following behind this man's laws and his statutes and creeds. But all of this is happening because this man has changed the times and laws and has warped and distorted our mindset to believing in lies. But it's on you, King.
And he know that we're gonna look at the short term benefits sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the long term. We're looking at the short term, like I might get the house, I might get the car. But if you're not looking at the damage it's gonna cause to the young children who don't have mama and dad at the house at the same time.
Right.
When you separate your kid, say like mom and dad not together no more. Mom get a new husband, dad get a new wife, and they visit them back and forth. They got so many different type of rules within both houses. They don't know which way to go. Mom, dad, and his new wife said do it like this. Mama, her new husband said do it like this. So the children is confused.
Right.
We don't look at it like that. But from there, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 1.
All right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 1. And it reads, when a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house.
And see, that's how it was. That's man saying that. That's not of the Lord. The Lord said the way you send a woman out, if you want to divorce from her, the only way you can divorce from her is through adultery. Right here saying, basically saying any little thing that she does, you can divorce her, but that's not so. Uh, and that's when it first was established about divorce, but that's not by God. If y'all get that, but
Also in that verse, it was saying the man give her a bill of divorcement. It wasn't saying she can give him a bill of divorcement.
Right.
That's what I was referring to earlier about how Esau has changed times and laws. The law says that the man, if he had found uncleanness in her, he'll give her a bill of divorcement.
And the reason the Lord don't allow the woman to have that power to divorce her husband is for the simple fact, like stuff that's going on to this day. I know one or two brothers that I know that they married, and while they married, they care for their wives, so they pay for their wife to go to school, taking money out of their pocket to get their wife through school. As soon as the woman finished school, get what? She don't want him no more. She graduated and got her degree. Now she ready to go. And she used him to get what she wanted. And when she got what she wanted, now she ready to go. Whereas if we follow by what the Most High says, she can't call no lawyer and say, hey, I'm no longer happy. I want a divorce. How much do I need to pay you? She can't get out of it that easy when it comes to the Lord.
Right. Also, just going back to Genesis chapter 3 right quick, just to show something else going into that, why that would be up to the man because of what happened in the beginning, in the garden, so to speak. Go to Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. It said, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. It ain't no he might. This is what the Lord put in, spoke. It is written. The woman, her desires, her wants and needs, and things she wants in life will be to her husband. That was the thing that the Lord put in place, the order that he established. He would rule over thee. So if a woman was able to say, you know what, man, hey, I don't want to deal with you no more, and she up, that means he ain't ruling over her. If she can up and go do whatever the hell she wants to, hey, her desires are not to her husband. So that's out of order right there. That's going against the grain. And why is that happening? Once again, what we read in Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. This man who was against God, who claiming and putting himself in a position like God, shall speak great words against the Most High and think to change times and law, and wear us out in the process and have us believing and following in his ways. So now everything is out of order. Just like, let me get one more precept right quick.
Go ahead, bro. Take your time. Whatever you want.
The book of Psalms, chapter 82, right quick. Psalms chapter 82, verse 5. It says, they know not, meaning we as a nation of people, we don't know, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course, meaning they out of order. Everything is out of order. The way that we get married, following their customs, is out of order. The way they divorce is out of order. We following their custom. Everything in this earth is out of order because we are not in order as a nation of people. So we don't even know that we walking in darkness. We think we doing good because we got some money in the account. We got a little career going. We got a nice size house, a couple cars. We think we doing it. Nah, everything is out of order still. And we don't even know that we walking out of order or walking in darkness. We think we doing good. And we wonder why the divorce rate for our nation of people is through the roof. You know what I'm saying? Because we doing everything in darkness in an opposite fashion than what the Lord designed it to be. You know, everything is out of order.
Right.
But this is why we do these classes, to help enlighten our brothers and sisters as to how things are supposed to be. But it's on you, King.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 28.
First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 28. And it reads, but, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she have not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you.
Okay. But if thou marry, thou have not sinned. And if a virgin marry, we know what a virgin is, right?
A woman of marital age.
There you go. A virgin is a woman of marital age. I want to get off into that, but that's another story. But she have not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh. Saying even though you have married, you still will have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. And he said, I spare you because all throughout the Bible, he gives us situations and ways to handle situations as a married couple, how to handle all these situations. That's why he said, I spare you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not gonna be left out alone. You're not gonna be left hanging out on a branch. If you read, you'll come across whatever situation you in and know how to handle that situation. That's why I said I spare you.
Mm-hmm. Let me get Romans chapter 7 and 2 right quick.
Bring it up.
This is something else that should help edify our brothers and sisters according to the law regarding marriage and divorce. You know, this is the book of Romans. I'll start at verse 1. Because a lot of our people had this mindset that the laws of God are done away with. But let's see what Paul says in the book of Romans. This book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law. So Paul speaks to those who know the law. How that the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth. So that right there lets you know that the commandments of the Most High still stand. All right. They are put in place to help govern us. Only the damn devil would tell you that the laws of God are done away with. But let's continue. Verse 2, it says, for the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? So what is that telling you right there? She can't divorce that man. She is bound to that man as long as he lives. He has the right to do so. But if the husband be dead, that's the only way that a woman can walk away from a marriage. Well, those are the only two reasons. From death and the man actually giving her a bill of divorcement. You can't just wake up one day and say, to hell, I don't want to be your wife no more.
Right.
I'm going down to the damn circuit judge. I'm going to civil court. I'm filing the papers on you. Nah. Our heritage says that the woman is bound to the husband by law as long as he lives. We have to understand these things, and we have to teach it to our brothers and sisters as well. But it's on you, King.
And the reason that law is so strict is because you taking those vows for the Most High. He ain't gonna let you off the hook that easy because of what your enemy told you can do.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna let you off the hook like that. Now you're gonna have to stay truthful to what you swore before the Most High to do. How you think he finna let you come down from what you agreed to because Esau said it's okay? No, it don't work like that. Who is Esau compared to the Most High?
Right.
So let's get the book of Matthew chapter 5, and we're gonna read 31 and 32.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 31. And it reads, "It had been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement." Once again, him. All right, verse 32. "But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, cause of her to commit adultery.
When it
And
says
whosoever,
when it says
and
save for when it says saving for the cause of fornication, that's just like saying except for the cause of fornication. Read.
causes her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery."
Right. So it said, "But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving except for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery. And whoever shall marry her, after you so called call yourself putting away, uh, that is divorce committed adultery also. Whoever married her, they committed adultery. And it goes back to show you where they get that state of mentality from. Go back to 24:1. Uh, go back to Deuteronomy 24:1.
Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. "When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he have found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house."
You see that? That's why they're thinking that it should be so easy for her to divorce a woman or divorce period. But like the Most High said, the only way you can divorce is because of fornication. Only way a man can divorce his wife is because of fornication. We have to remember that. You cannot get mad because she can't cook. If she ain't cook, if your food ain't hit, can't get mad because you ain't satisfied with the sex. Can't get divorced because you just find no interest in her no more. You went through them vows that the Most High has set. You have to stay with her and
Mhm.
let fornicate. We have to remember that.
Yeah, that's why you got to go through a proving process before deciding to lay down with somebody or deciding to marry somebody. You know,
Right.
that's why you go through the proving process. That's why the scriptures tell you prove a friend first. Be not hasty to credit them.
That,
You want to go based on just how somebody look,
mm,
or uh, how much money they got, or how their body is shaped. You know, oh
that,
man, she's beautiful, can't cook worth a damn. Oh man, look, he's tall, he got all the money in the world, but he's an abuser of women, of people, a striker.
right.
You know, she
Hey,
disrespectful to her family and friends,
mm-hmm.
or lightheaded, light-minded. You just attracted to the physical attributes, and you're not looking on down the road at the long haul. That's why
Mm.
the Lord tell you to prove a friend first. So you can.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, that was my next scripture. We're gonna bring it out. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 7. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 7. Just like the brother said, we supposed to prove uh a person first, because this will help out on a lot of divorces. If we just do this, prove a person first, that would cut down on the high rate of divorces. We got people
Right.
mesmerized because she got hazel eyes. You can't get away from the hazel eyes if you got to marry. Or you got mesmerized because he got a nice bank account. So you got to marry for the feel stability.
Right. The book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 7, and it reads, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
And that's speaking as far as a man or a woman, proving a husband or a wife. It says friend, but that goes into husband or wife or whatever. Prove him or her first. You can't look at no woman and her physical appearance and think that's the one for you because she look good in your eyesight.
What old boy said, baby kids, he said beauty is skin deep, but ugly is to the bone. And
right. That's right.
You know, when it comes down to proving somebody, you got to do a diligent search, especially when you're talking about laying down with them or to marry them or look into their family history or how their family views them. How are they, how are they raised? All of these things matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Prove somebody. You got to prove somebody. Somebody tell you everything you want to hear.
What they call that, whispering them sweet nothings in your ear.
Eat nothing. Right.
Setting you up for the failure. You ignoring the red flags is because you stunned by the beauty or you stunned by this man's height or his muscles or the car he drive.
Sometimes you see the red flag and still don't give a damn.
Right.
It's mesmerized. Then, you know. But let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 6 through 9.
You said Mark chapter 10?
Yes, sir. Verse 6 through 9.
All right. Lord willing, you brothers and sisters paying attention and actually hitting home and teaching you something, you know. All right, this is the book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 6. But from the beginning of the creation, Yahweh made them male and female.
Male and female. Read.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife.
Right.
And they twine shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twine, but one flesh. What therefore Yahweh have joined together, let no man put asunder.
Right. So it said, what therefore God had joined together, let no man put asunder. I'm going to read the definition of asunder. And the definition of asunder is a state of being divided, separated, or broken apart. But now, okay, yeah, that's it. A state of being divided, separated, or broken apart. So it said, let no man put in that state. That's what the state of asunder is. Once God put it together, don't let no one break it, separate it, or have it put apart, broke, or have it breaking apart. Because why? The Most High have put that together. If He put it together, why should it be separated?
Right.
Now you got. Let's get the. We're gonna go into like we just said. Asunder is a state of being divided, separated, or broken apart. But it said, "Let no man put asunder." But now, in this day and age, it's so easy to do just that, you know. It said, let no man put asunder, but now it's very easy for someone to, or for you to even want to get divorced for a little bit for something that just doesn't make sense. It's not a good enough reason for the divorce. Bring out the video I gave you from the divorce court. We're going to look at two videos. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Days.
Okay, what are the
in
high
Bible.
holy days?
Say like Passover. You celebrate Easter, we celebrate Passover.
Okay.
You celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. Okay. So
And
are you
we
Jewish?
pray, and we, yeah.
Well, now Judaism is a mainstream religion, Ms. Johnson. I mean, the sex part I've never heard about in Judaism before.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
But how does it differ?
Like I said, the God that I serve said nothing done between a man and a wife can be unholy.
You just really want some better sex, don't you? You really just, you want the brother to deliver.
Yes.
She was on the role playing and all. Okay, come get it.
Everyone has their vice.
You know what I mean?
Everyone has their vice.
We
Mr.
do
Johnson,
celebrate
tell me what
high,
is
we
true.
call them high.
So really, she not trying to divorce her husband because she not satisfied with the sex. She see the where he's trying to, the path he's trying to lead her on, and she's not with it. So she trying to find any excuse to let this brother go. So, you know, it's just an example on some of the silly and unnecessary reasons our people get divorced from one another. You got the other video?
That was the last one. But I do have one.
Okay.
All right. Where is it at? This is going into the psychology of divorce, so to speak. The thought, the mindset.
Me than the kids.
I understand
and so
that.
the covenant is broken. Only for me, I'm not self-projecting. The covenant is broken when it goes the other way. Of course, if I'm married and my husband says, you know, I'm sure both of us are going to equally agree it's the child.
Right.
But when it comes to making sure our relationship is healthy, which is really the healthiness of the environment for our child, for me, my value is only my husband comes first and I come first. And I find in my session of 17 years, Nick, there's been many more men than women who come in and say that the relationship failed. And if you look at divorce rate statistics of when divorce happens, it's after that first child. It's after, because
they should have never got married in the first place.
Probably so, but also because, you know, whoever it was, and from my experience, it has been the woman, we're not knocking women, but it's been the woman more who has placed the child first and totally dissipated the man. If there's a hierarchy for me that goes God.
You see that? That's another reason why a lot of marriages don't work. And that goes back to us discontinuing from our heritage, not knowing our roles or how the order is actually structured or set up. You know, when you read in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, it goes into the structure or the order of things. It's supposed to be Yahweh, the Most High, His Son, man, woman, child. It ain't no rearranging that order. You know what I'm saying? It's not you have a child and then all of a sudden all the attention and all the support and energy goes to that child. No. That's going to bring about a destroyed relationship right there. You know. But she also brought out a fact in there, just like we read in the article, that everybody already knows about, that majority of women file for divorce. It's crazy. You had something, King?
No, I'm just saying, like you said, the majority of women file for divorce, and in the long run, they're gonna need their man for protection. You know, they need that man. Now, I ain't saying every man is the best man for a woman, because a lot of times we got evil men that's married to these women, but you know, a lot of times you got the woman filing for divorce, and she's she got into the marriage for the wrong reason and want to divorce the male, but really she gonna end up needing him, you know. But let's bring out I got let's go to the book of Jeremiah, and we're gonna read chapter 3, verse 1 through 11, because divorce consists of more than just a husband and his wife, you know, deciding to leave one another, and you know, adultery can mean more than just
Still there?
Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's starting to act up again. But yeah, I can hear you. It's a lag.
Okay, I was saying divorce can consist of more than just a husband and wife leaving each other, and adultery could consist of more than just a infidelity between a husband and a wife, you know. And we can read that, we can find that out, and we're gonna read Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1 through 11.
All right. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet again to me, yet return again to me, saith the Lord.
So the Lord is talking to but thou hast played the harlot within many lovers, yet return again to me. So he's speaking to Israel. Read.
Verse 2. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places and see where thou hast not been lain with. In the ways hast thou sat for them as the Arabian in the wilderness, and thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness.
Read.
Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there have been no latter rain, and thou hast a whore's forehead. Thou refusest to be ashamed. Wow.
They talk about Israel got a whore's forehead. You remember? I think they're going into where they put the A on the woman's head, and it says, Israel, we ain't ashamed of that thing. We got the A on our forehead. We don't care nothing about it.
Right.
And when she had the A on her head, she was ashamed. Read.
Verse 4. Wilt thou not from this time cry unto me, my father, thou art the God of my youth?
Read.
Will he reserve his anger forever?
Will
Will
God reserve his anger forever?
Will he keep it to the end?
Hell,
Behold,
go ahead.
behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldest.
Talking about, we did the most evil thing that we could. Read.
The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel have done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there have played the harlot.
Read.
The Most High don't be playing with the word. All right, verse 7. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me, but she returned not. And her treacherous sister, Judah,
we done did all these things against the Most High, and he's still telling us to turn back to him. He said, but she returned not. Talking about us. Read.
and her treacherous sister, Judah, saw it. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce.
So he didn't give Israel a bill of divorce, because we just not going to do right. So he done putting us away. Go on about your business. See, could you find you a better lover than me? Read.
Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also.
Read.
And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
I think they're going to her committing idolatry. They're going into these other customs or whatever, worshiping these other gods. She committed adultery. Read.
And yet, for all this, her treacherous sister Judah, have not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, saith the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Verse 11.
And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel have justified herself more than treacherous Judah.
See that? So by us going against the Most High, he has said that he has divorced us, Israel and Judah. He says, what he said? How the backsliding Israel committed adultery. So you can commit adultery against the Most High, just like a woman or a man can commit adultery against their spouse. The Most High is our spouse, and we have committed adultery against him.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Let me get a precept, King.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon right quick, chapter 14. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. We're going to go to verse 11. And it reads, therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of God, they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. Talking about idolatry, all right? For the devising of idols, check that out now. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. So that's what that fornication is that the Lord talking about. You know, except fornication, not only sleeping around, but also spiritual fornication. You know, you know you're an Israelite, but you damn worshiping white Jesus. You don't want to adhere to the commandments. You know, that's the devising of idols right there. That's spiritual fornication.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the brother was just bringing out right there. That's what the Lord was talking about us when we went and played the whore. We was following the idols and worshiping the customs of the heathen.
Mm-hmm.
Following everything that they put out there. We wanted to be just like them. And became an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. Now our people stumbling constantly because we unwise, and our people is constantly laying out stumbling blocks. Hey, brother, the scriptures say we ain't supposed to be celebrating Christmas. Hey, sister, Christmas and Easter, hey, that ain't what we supposed to be doing. But it's for the kids. You laying a stumbling block, a snare to the feet of the unwise. The kids don't know no better. But you say, I'm going to teach it, I'm going to do it anyway because it's fun for them. I want them to have a childhood. You laying a stumbling block out there before them. So as they get older, they're going to find it harder and harder to step into the truth, to accept the truth. because you laying out stumbling blocks. You know what I'm saying? But the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. That's the same thing that Eve was actually going into when you read in the book of Genesis. That was that fruit that she actually bit off and gave to her husband. It wasn't a damn apple.
Right.
The word apple ain't nowhere in the book of Genesis.
Nowhere in the Bible.
Right. Just like we were talking to a brother this past weekend talking about the Adam's apple. Foolishness. But that's the name that they gave it. But apple ain't nowhere in the book of Genesis. You don't believe me? Look it up. Do your research. But that's what Eve bit off. Spiritual fornication. Because that's what Satan came to her with. You will not die. You will be like gods.
Mm-hmm.
Really? So I can do this. I can do that. Yeah, you ain't going to die. Spiritual fornication. That's what that was. That was the beginning of sin.
Mm-hmm.
We as a people need to understand these things, how deep it goes. Just like the video the brother brought out at the very beginning of the class, over there in Burkina Faso, where the people over there bleaching their skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's spiritual fornication right there. You wanting to be just like them, where you hate yourself, wearing blonde wigs, as so many of our sisters are doing today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wearing wigs and weaves to look like the enemy, saying or thinking they being unique. Spiritual fornication, and you don't even realize. But it's on you though, King.
Appreciate that insight, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also, we have to remember when we come into the truth, cause a lot of times we do things that's breaking the law, not knowing it before we come into the truth. Then you come into the truth, and then you be like, oh man, for example, you come into the truth, you realize, man, I'm supposed to have a beard on my face. That's an easy fix, right? Go ahead and grow your beard and let your beard grow. It's easy.
Right.
But say, for example, what if you marry outside your nation and you come into the truth? And on top of you marrying outside your nation, you got kids by this person. And you come to the truth. Now you got a decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a hard decision. Am I going to follow what the Most High say? I'm an Israelite woman, or I'm an Israelite man. I married this Edomite,
Damn.
Moabite. We got kids to go. Am I going to follow what the Most High say once I come into the truth? Hopefully you do, but that's a hard decision to make. Hopefully you make the right choice, which would be to lead that person. I ain't said lead your children. I said lead that person who you marry. Because when you come to the truth, you know that that's not right. And then
Right.
we have and we were reading the Bible beforehand, before we made the decision, we would have known, hey, I can't do that. It'll be much easier decision known than it is after the fact finding out.
Right.
You know, but let's get book of Ezra, not second Ezra. We're going to Ezra chapter 10, verse 1 through 5. Ezra chapter 10, verse 1 through 5.
The book of Ezra, chapter 10, verse 1, and it reads, Now when Ezra had prayed, and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of Yahweh, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children, for the people wept very sore. Then Shechaniah, the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, we have trespassed against our God, and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing.
It says we have trespassed.
Yet now there is.
It says we have trespassed against our God and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning these things. Read.
Now, therefore, let us make a covenant with our God to put away all the wives and such as are born of them according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our God, and let it be done according to the law.
Right. It said, now for let us make a covenant, an agreement with the Lord, our God, to put away all the wives. So that now they're gonna make an agreement. Okay, we're gonna put these strange wives away, and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and those that tremble at those that tremble at the commandments of our God, the ones that fear the commandments, and let it be done according to the law. Read.
Arise, for this matter belongeth unto thee. We also will be with thee. Be of good courage and do it. Then arose Ezra and made the chief priests, the Levites, and all Israel to swear that they should do according to this word, and they swear.
You see that? So they agreed to get rid of these strange wives and don't deal with them. So they know what the truth is now. And that's the same thing we have to do. But
That's
how many of us are willing to do that? They be out there with they strange wives while we out teaching, and we said something about it. They don't want to hear what we saying.
right.
And 9 times out of 10, they come out there with a strange wife, and they see us out there. They already know what we finna tell them, so they gonna avoid us anyway.
Right.
They're not willing to come out there with a strange wife or a strange husband and communicate. They'll walk right past us or dodge us, stay out of the vicinity or whatever.
Right.
And if they doing that, they let us know that they know somewhere that they are doing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if they didn't know, they'll walk past us like they were with somebody of their own nation and just walk straight past. They wouldn't duck and dodge us like that. And they mind, oh, I know what they finna say. I don't need to be with this white man. I know they finna tell them I don't need to be with this white woman. And they gonna dodge us.
Mm-hmm.
They know what the deal is, but they just not willing to change. A lot of times they just in it for a security, financial, but trying to be financially set and trying to have that security gonna have you screwed up in the end.
Right. Let me read that verse 3 again.
Wait.
It says, now therefore let us make a covenant with our God to put away all the wives as such as born of them, and such as born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our God, and let it be done according to the law. So they saying, hey, we got to make a covenant with the Lord, and we want those individuals who tremble at the commandment of our God to do this. Now, as we were just reading earlier about the stumbling blocks that being laid before our people, they telling us, hey, the laws of God are done away with. So we're not going to tremble at the commandment because we are being told that they are done away with.
Mm-hmm.
So they laying out stumbling blocks saying, hey, love is blind. You can love who you want to. That's a stumbling block. Nah, you love your people. You fight for your people. You marry and raise up the nation of your people. You know what I'm saying? They throw that stumbling block out there and listen to songs like We Are the World. Hey, they all holding hand. Michael Jackson, somebody who hate himself, with Diana Ross and all of them who eat a mic, you know, they hate themselves. But they holding hand with the enemy saying we are the world. You know what I'm saying? And got us thinking love is blind. We can love and be with whoever. But our brothers and sisters realized what the hell was going on when a man of real counsel came around. A man who wasn't afraid to rebuke them and tell them. They were like, damn, man, we went the hell off, man. Hey, we gotta make this right before the Lord. We don't want him to punish us. And we're gonna do what you tell us to do, basically. Thus saith the Lord.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they trembled at the commandment. They didn't want their judgment from the Lord. But today, like the brother saying, hey, they know they in the wrong. They'll take shortcuts. Damn, they'll get hit by a car trying to avoid the word of the Lord today.
Mm-hmm.
Or the minute you say anything, they get offended immediately, rather than hearing the truth. They get immediately offended.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on you, King.
Yes, sir. You're right, brother. But no, well, I'm saying on the other hand, when we have to realize when we do have a good Israelite woman, as a wife, we have to do certain things. When we do have that luxury of having a good Israelite woman, let's get Ephesians chapter 5, verse 28.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 28. And it reads, so ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
You see that? Love your wife as your own body. I'm pretty sure loving your wife as you love yourself would help out on that divorce rate. If you thinking your wife as you think of yourself, love your wife like you love yourself. Cause if you loving her like you love yourself, she gonna feel love. When love is there, what need is there for separation or divorce? And it goes deeper. Also, let's go to Ephesians 5 and 25.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Yahushua also loved the church and gave himself for it.
The church is us, and he gave himself, meaning he died for us. So the Most High telling us that love your wives just like Yahushua loved the church, loved us, and died for us. That's how much we must love our wives. We loving our wives like that. Ain't no way divorce even come across your mind.
Right.
Cause she know I got me a good husband. Like I said, I drink his dirty bath water. You living like that, that's how she feels. She love you, you love her. Ain't nobody going nowhere. But we haven't followed the scripture. No need for divorce when you follow the scripture. Cause you're doing what is required.
Mm-hmm.
What is required. So also I just got a couple more. Matthew 19 and 9. We didn't talk about it, but if we not loving our wives or treating our wives like we should be treating them, anything could urge divorce. But like that, anything could urge divorce. And like I said, as Israelites, we got rules on it. So let's bring it out of Matthew chapter 19, verse 9. We done brought it out before on this class. Matthew chapter
Matthew
19,
what?
19 verse 9.
Book of Matthew chapter 19, verse 9. And it reads, and I say unto you whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marry her, which is put away, doeth commit adultery.
Right. So the only way you can put away your wife is through adultery. And what was the second part of that? Read one more time.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery.
So, and if you put your wife away for anything except fornication and marry another, you have committed adultery. Read.
And whosoever marrieth her, which is put away, doeth commit adultery.
So somebody dealing with the woman who you put away for something other than adultery and marry her, they have committed adultery also. So it's a lot of that going on. Because the court said, okay, y'all no longer want to be together because he lazy. Y'all can get a divorce now. And y'all separate. Y'all commit adultery. You can't go by what the court system say in the United States.
Right.
And when you come before the Most High, he ain't trying to hear, well, Judge Mathis told me I can do this. He said, we said we can get a divorce, and he said we were divorced. The Most High ain't trying to hear that.
Right.
Do not be spared because of ignorance of the law.
Good point.
Bring out the last scripture. We can go from there to Romans chapter 7, verse 2 and 3.
Book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 2. And it reads, for the woman which have a husband is bound by the law to her husband, so as long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband.
That's the only way you is loose, female, Israelite woman. That's the only way you can get away from your husband is if he is dead. Read 3.
So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man,
if
she
he
shall
still
be called in a,
somebody else, he's still alive, and you choose to marry somebody else, read,
she shall be called an adulteress.
you're gonna be an adulteress. Read.
But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law. So that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man.
So the only way you escaping your husband is through death, Israelite woman. Through death. That's the only way he got to be out of there. Why? Because, like we said at the beginning of the class, he take those vows seriously. When you decide to marry, take an oath before the Most High, he take that serious. He ain't finna let you off that oath for anything. The only way you coming up out that oath is through death. He have to be dead. And that's what we have to realize. Stop going by Esau laws. Like Esau laws gonna have a lot of us not getting the kingdom. And like I said, ignorance of the law don't make you exempt, from the punishment.
Right.
But that's all I had to bring out on tonight's class. If you got something else, brother, you want to bring out, you can bring it out.
No, you pretty much covered everything for the most part. I think I just want to bring out something else right quick in a little article.
Go ahead.
It was one thing that a lot of us, we don't ever really dive deep into anything or do any type of research But divorce for a woman has not even been around that long. As rapid as it's going on in today's society, it has not always been around. So I'm gonna go through this article right quick and see if I can blow it up a little bit. It says, when were women allowed to legally divorce? It says this came in 1937 when the Matrimonial Cause Act of that year. This act, following almost 3 decades of political pressure, allowed women to petition for divorce on the same terms of men for the first time. The law, however, retained the requirement for adultery, cruelty, or desertion to be demonstrated. So the woman in today's society wasn't even able to file for divorce until 1937. So it ain't always been a custom for a woman to be able to do these things. Even Esau did not allow that. And like you said, it came almost 3 decades later after political pressure. So these politicians was constantly being pressured into doing this thing for that to happen. So I just wanted to bring that out as well. And this whole article actually goes into a lot of different topics. Could you divorce in the 1960s? Could a woman divorce her husband in 1920s? No. Who was the first woman to divorce her husband? You got a lot of different things that you can dive into to find out more about the topic of divorce, along with the scriptures, just to show you that we're supposed to be abiding by the scriptures. Just like another example would be kind of going off topic, but women did not always wear pants. That's a new thing in the earth. But the way it's done today, you would think it'd been around for centuries, But the scriptures say that a woman should not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. She ain't supposed to be dressing like a man, wearing pants and such. And when you look back, go back and look at old movies and old TV shows from, I'm gonna say the 60s on back, you ain't gonna see no women on there wearing no pants. You're not gonna see that. Because Esau was even following that law to a degree. You know what I'm saying? They knew the repercussion behind it. So just like we read in Romans chapter 7, verse 1, as long as a man liveth, the law has dominion over him. The law still stands, my brothers and sisters.
That's right.
We have to keep the commandments of the Most High. We got to say the hell with the ways of the world. We got to forsake the ways of this world. Be not conformed to the ways of this world. We got to love our brothers and sisters. Most importantly, we got to keep these commandments and have the faith in Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. The commandments are still in effect. And in order for us to have a strong nation, we have to have strong families. And in order to have a strong family, we got to abide by the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Without his law, without his guidance, we are broken and destroyed as we are right now as a people. Mm-hmm. So we have to return unto the Lord. Even though we did like Israel and Judah and went under every high mountain and every green tree, sleeping with all these other lovers, the Lord said, return unto me. Return unto the Lord. That's what we got to do as a nation of people.
Right.
Return back to the law, statutes, and commandments. And we won't have to do any more classes or topics on divorce, which is a destroyer of nations. Because we'll be united again, back up under the wings of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I had, King.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Well, Israel, hope y'all got something out of class, took notes or whatever. But that's gonna do it for tonight. And again, we are A.O.I. I am Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Ananias.
And with that, we say shalom. Enjoy the rest of your night and tune in next Friday on another Sabbath class. Shalom.
Shalom.